folks, am I, Tom Vasel, professional reviewer here at the Dice Tower. I've been reviewing games now since 2002, 22 years of reviewing. It started off for sure as a hobby, but now it's my full-time job. But am I considered a professional reviewer? What even is professional? I looked it up online, and the definition is traditionally, a professional is someone who derives their income from their specific knowledge or experience, as opposed to a worker, hobbyist, or amateur without formal education. This meaning still carries through today to areas such as sports. Okay, so what makes someone a professional? Is it money? And I've been criticized a lot throughout the years on my reviews, and one of the earliest ones compared my writing to a 7th grader, which at the time as I was teaching 7th graders, I was like, I'm not that bad, am I? But I remember distinctly one time, someone critiqued me and said, this person said, hey, I also review games, but I get paid for doing it. I'm a professional. Tom and his ilk do not get paid. They're amateurs. Oh, okay. But years later, this same person said, well, Tom gets money for paying, so he's obviously bought off. I don't get paid for doing it, and therefore I'm free to be whatever I want as a reviewer. And I thought, oh, okay. I don't know that the exchanging of money makes someone a professional. You could argue that if it's your job, I do this professionally for a living. So money could be there, but what about education? You know, some people say you be a professional, you have to have an education. Now, very few people who review board games went to college for writing or video editing. But if you did, does that make you better than the people who didn't? Well, what about experience? Now, this is one we can talk about a lot. Someone who reviews one game, and me who's played, I don't know, thousands and thousands of games at this point in time, is my review more valid than theirs? And I would argue no, in one sense, right? Because if you play a game, it's your first game you've ever played, and you review it, that is a valid review. But at the same time, someone with a lot of games played does have that wealth of experience. Is my opinion greater than someone who only plays 1 or 2 games or just plays a few games, but because I played more games, is my opinion better? And at what point do your reviews become acceptable? After reviewing 100? After playing 1,000? I mean, there is some validity. I'm not going to argue that playing more games gives you a wider breadth of knowledge for games. But also, playing that many games can also make you a little bit more jaded. When someone comes to me and says, hey, I've gone to this restaurant, it's amazing, I don't say, how many restaurants have you been to? But at the same time, when my son comes to me and says that the McDonald's Big Mac is the greatest hamburger he's ever had, that's certainly a valid review, but I need to take into account his experience that he's had with these things. And you might not be the right person for a review, right? Oh, I love playing kids' games with kids, and some people sit there and go, that's a terrible thing. Party games are boring and dull and inaccessible, and we have to take that into account. There's a lot of different things, and there's a lot that people talk about being a quote-unquote professional reviewer. And I've read a lot about this over the past years and listened to podcasts and videos about people talking about it. Some of these people have made an outcry that there needs to be deeper critiques of board games and board gaming in general. I've often seen it said that the board game hobby is devoid of critical thinking, well-written prose, and it's essentially amateur hour. And there are people who fight against this trend with well-written reviews and superbly crafted videos. They have these higher goals to talk about these issues and to do more. And I think this is perfectly fine. What I take umbrage with is when people denigrate me and others like me who do reviews to make it seem like we're being silly and childish. We're talking about games. You know, what do you expect on one hand? But in my life, I have found that sometimes I read a review or watch a review, and it's not just games, anything, and I read it and I say, this is the lofty heights. This review is amazing. What they've done is incredible. And at the end, I sit there and think about it. Oh, that review should have won some sort of award, but the thing they were reviewing, did they even really talk about it much? Do I even know anything about it? And so at the Dice Tower, we kind of do quick and dirty reviews here. We show the game, we show the gameplay, and then we tell you our opinions on the game. And I often hear, and it often comes across, whether meant to or not, on a very snobby level, that this is kind of low-class reviewing, and that it hurts the hobby, etc., etc. And my argument is that we are doing the very purpose of a review. It might not fit some sort of arbitrary standards that people set, but I usually find that standards that people set are often used to promote yourself. Oh, I play a game 30 times before I review it. Why did you say that? It's so you look better than the people who don't. I don't even talk to publishers. That way I'm not influenced by them. We tend to flaunt our own standards just to show we're better than those people who might have different standards. And we all stand around congratulating each other and forget that people just want to pull out a board game and have fun. That being said, what are our standards here at the Dice Tower? You want my statement of purpose? All right. At the Dice Tower, our number one purpose is to spread the love of board gaming along with the people who play them. That's why I'm here. I'm here to promote board games. There is all kinds of things all over the internet, and you can find stuff about every which way opinion that you want. But at the Dice Tower, we're about board games and the people who play them, and that's what our main goal is. Also, our first priority, whenever it comes to gaming, is our viewers. It's not to the poor, bedraggled publisher whose game we got. It's not to other critics to meet some sort of standard. Our goal is to impart the information. This is a game we played. We think it's good, bad, in between. I don't know, but that is our goal, is to you, the viewers. I also say we always tell the truth. There's definitely a lot of people out there right now who, no matter what you do, are going to distrust you. You can't get around that. You got a review copy. That publisher advertised on your website or sponsored your convention, or you are friends with this person. There's not a lot we can do about that except to hold in our hearts, we are going to be honest. And we strive to be honest. We're going to tell the truth, even if it's not nice. The money doesn't affect it in that regard. As long as we come to that conclusion, we are going to tell the truth. But we also realize that our truth is our opinions. And we welcome, and I push on the Dice Tower for us to have a variety of opinions and diversity in thought. I've always been a big fan of having people who come on the show who highly disagree with me on games. Not only is that entertaining to watch, but it also presents a wide swath of reviews. And over a year ago, I decided in Dice Tower that as many reviews as we could in Dice Tower would have multiple points of view so that you could hear those thoughts from different people. I also believe that gaming makes the world a better place, not the reviews. So we back up our reviews with conventions, game nights, and more because at the end of the day, people are going to remember the game, not the review. Also, though, while I think gaming makes the world better here at the Dice Tower, we always remember at the end of the day, these are fun toys, they're entertainment, they're games. Yes, I know games make families grow closer together. Games help with education, and I could do a long video about the importance of board gaming. But it is entertainment. And there are many things that are more important than that. That's what we focus here on the Dice Tower. And we also realize that we're not infallible. We have made mistakes. We will continue to make mistakes. The way I do things is not the way everyone should do things. I try to change up our style and things sometimes, but there's some things that I'm going to hold fast on. Those are my opinions. Sometimes people say, I wish there was more professionals in board game review. And someone says that's impossible. Because for that to happen, there would need to be a magazine or a newspaper, some sort of professional outlet that hires reviewers to come in and review things. And that doesn't exist. But it does. That's what the Dice Tower is. We are an outlet that hires reviewers who come in and review games. And you say, but that's different. I would argue it's not. Have you been to the big major news network pages these days? To whether it's, something like IGN for entertainment, CNN, Fox News, all these different organizations. Go to the webpage and you are bombarded with ads. And do these ads change the opinions of the things that they do? Possibly. But at the end of the day, when it comes to something, there has to be some sort of trust. I hope that over the years, we've built up a trust with you, the viewer, that you know that even though people advertise, sponsor us, we will call a spade a spade. We will say a game is good or a game is bad. So I guess I am a professional, but I don't know that I would ever consider myself to be an authority on games. People say, are you an authority? I don't think so. I just prefer to think of myself as a well-versed friend, an enthusiastic friend who loves games so much that I'm going to blather about them to you. But if you do review games, don't let other people gatekeep you out of it. It's kind of a funny thing to me if someone says, oh, I like playing video games. And I'm like, tell me the games you played. And they tell me some games. I'm like, those aren't really that good of games. You're not really a gamer. You would come down and slam on me for gatekeeping in that situation. The same thing it is here with reviews. We're looked at here at the Dice Tower as this big organization. We're very small, a very small business, have a few reviewers. We're smaller than most organizations that report on anything. But we're still bigger than a lot of people who come on into the scene and review board games. But all these people come on and review board games. Bring it. Keep doing it. Go out and review games. Don't worry if people say your reviews have to fit a certain style or have to be this way or that. Do it the way you would want to watch a review. That's what I do. The way I review games is the way I would want to watch a review. If you say, hey, the Dice Tower needs to have more critical thought and more things, then go out and start that. Do what you think you should see out there. Just don't smash everybody else down along the way. I love gaming, and I love sharing it with you. And as long as it's economically feasible, I'm going to keep doing it as my job. It lets me do it full time. But you know what? Take that away, and I would still tell you about games. Because, well, it's in my blood. Maybe that's what makes me a professional. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.